pleasant afternoon, and we're sitting in this very humble space to meet this very humble personality. Padma Shri awardee this year, 2024, I have before me Dr. Prema Dhanraj. Well, I don't know where do I start from or what do I start by saying about her. I think this time we will allow her to give us a little sneak peek about who Dr. Prema Dhanraj is. Welcome to SoSouth's podcast, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you. First and foremost, a huge congratulations for winning the Padma Shri,
Thank you.
for your exemplary work that you have done for people from low-income families that Agni Raksha, this beautiful organization of yours, helps burn survivors. Let's begin by asking you about the moment of Padma Shri. How did that come as a news to you?
Actually, it came as a surprise because I didn't know they're going to announce it that day. Nobody had told us.
Right.
And I go to bed early.
Okay.
9:30, I heard a lot, 9:30, maybe 10.
Right.
I heard lots of messages, Then I was wondering, what is this? What's happening? Why somebody is, Then I got up, I put the light, I thought, let me see. And I'm seeing means my name only.
Right.
Congratulations, Dr. Prema. So I was, very surprised.
Right.
But it was a very pleasant surprise.
Pleasant surprise.
And we're happy that because we very quietly work in the setup, we don't know propaganda, nothing like that.
Right.
So it is only like awareness and things like that my staff go.
Yes.
But this was something which was, surprise.
Surprising.
It was a surprising thing. And because it went on till 2 in the morning.
Right.
And I had to put off the phone
Yeah.
because people kept calling. And what amazed me more, it has not sunken in.
Not something yet.
Because people have not actually given me the time to or the space for me to sit and think what really has happened to me. But what amazed me is the number of people who kept calling, number of people who have sent me messages.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel I want so much of love from people.
Right.
And I can't ask for anything more.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Ma'am, the kind of work that you've done for burn survivors, right? Every curve ball that life has thrown at you from a very young age, from the incident, a personal incident that you went through yourself. And of course, we want you to start by probably telling us that what coaxed you or what persuaded you or made you or gave you this idea to come up with this foundation of Agni Raksha. And we also want you to highlight the fact that you yourself are a doctor, in the field of medicine. So if you can start from the journey.
Yeah, start from the journey means, we were born in a large, huge Christian family.
Right.
My parents were singing in the church.
Okay.
And they were very good singers. It was not their profession. My father was a chartered accountant.
Right.
My mom was a pharmacist.
Right.
But they had beautiful voice.
Right.
And every day we would sing while praying.
Right.
And I had the passion that I also wanted to be a singer,
Right.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to be a professional singer, not like my dad and mom just
Right.
singing in the church.
Right.
So I was being sent for guitar classes, piano classes. And then the school, in the school, they said there's going to be a function the next day. And if we can come out with, whatever we wanted to,
Yeah.
they said if you can tomorrow showcase your, your talent,
Yes.
then we'll put you in that particular class.
Okay.
So I was coming home and I was thinking I'm going to give my best shot tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I came, I went, we had a huge house. I went to the kitchen and I didn't find our help.
Okay.
So I thought I will make a cup of coffee because I was used to going to
How old
the
were you?
kitchen 8 years.
8 years old. Right.
But we would help my mom.
Right.
So I knew that I can go to the kitchen and I can
Okay.
work. So those days it was only a pumping stove. And so I went and I saw the flames were so flimsy.
Right.
I thought maybe it needed kerosene.
Right.
So I put kerosene
Right.
and the next minute it blew up like that, it blast.
Right.
And I had school uniform and I had nylon ribbons. So it quickly caught fire. And I ran out from the kitchen thinking that I'm going to put off the fire myself because there was a huge drum.
Right.
I went, I was very short,
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah.
and the water was so deep, and I was struggling to take. I think my neighbor he was doing medicine, so he saw me and he jumped and came and put off the fire. By putting water, he put off the fire. And then I think he carried me. By then, my mom also was coming back, and they took me to a hospital in Bangalore. And for in a month's time, my lip was touching my chest. I had no neck at all because I think I was lying like this, and they didn't take care of my position. So, and then when they do the dressing, it'll be only one dressing a week. By then, it is all stuck raw wound, no? And they'll pull the gauze piece without putting water, without taking care of it. And my full frock will be full of blood. And I'll cry 3 days before dressing and 3 days after dressing. There was no respite for me. I think at this time my parents decided that they have to discharge me and take me to another hospital. And that's when they took me to Vellore, CMC hospital, and that was one of the biggest hospital in Christian Medical College, Vellore. And I went there. They took me for surgery the next day, but they could not put in a tube because because I didn't have a neck at all. And 3 times they took me to theatre. I was back in the ward. My parents were very upset because my dad was crying. He's a very soft-hearted person. He was in tears, thought such big hospital cannot do anything for my daughter. But my mother was very, very strong. So she went to the chapel. She prayed to God and said, if you give her a new lease of life, I will make her a doctor in this hospital. Now for my mother to say when I am 8 years, I don't know from where she got the guts. Yes. But she prayed. And as if God was just waiting for my mother to take that promise, the next day when I went to the theatre, they put in a tube, and I had surgery for 12 hours. And my mom was fasting and praying the whole time in the church, in the chapel. And when she finished, when our surgery got over and I came back to the ward, I think my mother was just waiting for me to open my eyes. So the first time I opened my eyes, my mom was so relieved, I think. Then she had a glass of water. The whole day she was fasting and praying. And finally, it was all bottled up in her. She just said, Prema, you have to become a doctor. I was thinking, what is she saying?
Tender age of 8, did you comprehend much of it at that point?
I am actually so much in pain and 12 hours surgery, and I didn't know what she was talking to me. But from my mom's point of view, it was all bottled up in her the whole time. I think the whole day she was sitting in the chapel and praying and saying, I will make her a doctor. I think it just came out of her mouth that she was so relieved to see that I'm alive. And afterwards, she never told me anything about being a doctor or anything like that.
Oh, so she never came back and, ever spoke about this episode of it. Right.
And, then she, day to day, whatever was happening to me. And then we finished our surgery. We went back home. Then she called my brothers and sisters and said, Prema has had a lot of surgeries and you all have to be very nice to her. And then she looked at me. I have 1 brother and 2 sisters, and both my sisters were very small, very small. They didn't know what was happening. They only know that mommy was not there to take care of them. So as a family, we went through a very traumatic period. I'm the eldest. 1 year younger was my brother. And then they were very small. So then what happened, my mom looked at me and she said, you are just normal like your siblings. She said, if you do any mistake, I'll spank you, she told me. So that made me realize I cannot, sometimes treatment is the same for all of us. I think it made a lot of difference because nowadays if you see, if somebody is, if the child doesn't drink medicine, they'll say, we'll buy remote car for you, you drink this medicine. So for me, nothing. My mother said, you're just normal. So you have to do everything like how they do. She said, there's no special for you.
You're mentioning this to me, ma'am, this being, normal, just like your other siblings
Yeah.
at home. Was it the same thing when you stepped out and went back to school?
No, no, not at all. The whole world was, I mean, I felt outside world was terrible.
So you came back to Bangalore post that?
Yes, yes.
Bangalore. So
Bangalore.
y'all were positioned in Bangalore
In
post that.
Bangalore, yeah.
What was it, ma'am, after getting back? Because you were just 8, all of
Yeah.
8.
No, the first time I went was after 3 years. And after 1 year only, I saw the mirror. My mom had kept all the mirrors inside her room, and the maid was actually cleaning my mother's bedroom. Then when we were playing, actually, me, my brothers and all. So suddenly when I saw myself in the mirror, I was devastated. I couldn't believe that this is me. I cried a lot. Then my mother allowed me to cry, My mother was one of the best mothers in the world, I think. So she allowed me to cry, and then afterwards she said, Prema, this is your face. She said, the earlier you accept, the better for you, because not much is going to change. After 3 years, she called me and said, now it's time that you go to school. I cried so much because I know that when my cousins come, they look at me and they'll run away screaming because they can see that I am not normal. And they're also small, no? I went, but the school, they said that I have to start all over again.
Absolutely.
I didn't want to because my classmates were already 3 years ahead
Absolutely.
of me. So I wrote privately.
Right.
I passed 10th standard.
Right.
First attempt only, after
Woo.
reading only for 4 months.
Okay.
And those days we had to do 8th, 9th, 10th together.
Okay.
All 3 years we
Okay.
had to.
Right.
And I studied only for 4 months.
Okay.
And I passed, I got 35, 40.
Mhm.
And I was so happy I passed.
Right.
I didn't think of the
marks. Right.
The marks didn't matter to
Right.
me. So that gave me confidence to go out into society. Well, anyway, then I went to PUC. I finished BSc. No,
Right.
I finished PUC. I didn't get good marks.
Okay.
But still, I went to write exams.
Right.
And when I went to write exams, I knew that I have not done well.
Okay.
So I came out and then I told my brother, hey, let's go to a hotel.
Wow. Okay.
We'll eat biryani. He said, oh, you've done well. I said, no, I have not done well at all. So he called my mother and said,
Right.
Ma,
Right.
those days coin, no?
Yeah, the
No.
coin booth, right? Huh?
So he went there and he said, Ma, she didn't do well, but she wants
Street
biryani.
biryani. Yeah.
So my mom said, you take her wherever she wants, you take. So I came home and I straight told my mother, I didn't do well. So I said, I will do BSc.
Right. What kept you so spirited, ma'am?
I think my mother.
Your mother.
Because in everything,
Her support all along.
She is so wonderful, I can't tell you. I cannot imagine without my mother, I don't know where I would be.
Right,
Because
right.
every time she put such lovely messages into my head. And she told me, she said, Prema, today these fellows will say you look like a devil. Tomorrow when you have a problem, they will not be there anyway.
Absolutely.
So she said, you be strong. You think what is best in life and you go ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of them said, you won't get with this looks, you won't get into medicine.
Right.
You have to get, how people are.
Absolutely.
How they really
This judgmental
demotivate
and the
you.
demotivation, right?
And they said, so I always used to pray to God. I say, Lord, I will do my best.
Right.
You do your part.
Absolutely.
You make
yeah.
sure that I don't, don't allow my enemies to gloat over my failure.
Right.
But I will do my best.
Yeah.
So I used to study very hard.
Yeah.
And
Did you know which field you wanted to choose?
Yeah, I chose science. Because
The
Mummy said-
specialization?
no, that is specialization
Much later. Right.
only. So I chose science and I had to
Yeah.
get into medicine for that. And because I got such good marks
Right.
in the final,
Right.
I just walked into medicine.
Medicine,
I
right.
did not need anybody's push or pull
Right,
or
right.
anybody, my parents going and begging somebody, nothing like that. So I chose Hubli Medical College because that was one of the best
Okay.
medical colleges. I went, I finished, passed in the first attempt, and then I came back to Vellore and I wanted to meet the director.
Right.
So as I was sitting waiting for it, I saw the same surgeon who had operated on me was now the
My
director of
God.
CMC Vellore.
And this is after a couple of years.
Yeah,
a
couple
lot
of years.
Yeah.
So I went in. I said, "Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Do you remember me?" He was a little like that because he didn't
Right,
know.
right, yeah.
Then he said, Prema?
He
said,
remembered, he recollected,
yes.
right?
He said, Prema, you're the first patient of mine who's now become a doctor and come. I said, sir, I want to work in this. Because by then my mom had said, no,
Yeah.
that I have to work in
Yes.
CMC. So I asked him, he said, sure, you work. But CMC is very strict. You have to write your own exams. Nobody will help you. And you have to get in on your own.
Right.
I told him, sure, I will never come to see you in your office till I pass, and then I'll come with a box of sweets. Till then, I will not come to your office.
My God.
So I went, I worked very hard, yeah, and then I got into MS General Surgery there. I took a box of sweets and went to the director's office, and I said, so sweets. He said, no, you don't give me, I'll give you. So he took the box and gave me a box. I said, what is this for? He said, now pack your bags, I'm sending you to Ludhiana. I said,
Okay.
so? He said, yes. You don't think that I'm not following you. I am following what all you're doing. I'm looking at it.
Right.
You've done well in your exams and I'm very happy. I've already booked for you to Ludhiana to do your plastic surgery training.
Whoa, okay.
You know, for me, it just came in a platter.
Right.
Really, because God has been so good.
kind.
See, He just opened the way for me.
Right.
I just walked into everything.
Right.
So I went there. I worked for about 6 months. Then they had exams, and I got only one seat for 2 years.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I had to be on call those 2 years completely all the time.
Right.
I think that though it was a little tough because at that time it was war
Right.
between Pakistan and India.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
1986.
Yes.
And from 86 to 88 I was there. And my father said, no, I won't send. But my mother said, no. The thing is, calling is, she has to become a plastic surgeon. She will go, nothing will happen to her. And she'll come back safely, she said.
My God.
So for that, anyway, I went.
Yeah.
And as obvious, my brother will come with me. He
Right.
dropped me. He set up everything for me in a hostel, and he came back to Bangalore. I finished in 2 years. Nothing happened. I'll just finish the market and come. There'll be a boom blast there. But nothing happened during
right.
my time there,
Yeah.
So I think my mom was all the time praying that nothing should happen to me.
Right.
And so once I finished that and came, I joined CMC Velo as a staff.
Ma'am, in this entire journey that you've narrated to me, what really stuns me is you've been blessed with that very positive environment with you through and through. Of course, with your mother being your prime strength, right? And your motivator, and your lovely brother who stood like a pillar with you, rock solid. Yes. In this entire journey, but anywhere, because it's an inevitable thing personally for us to go through moments of, tad bit of being low, or probably wondering sometimes that, how did this happen? Or why did this happen? By any chance did you go through that?
No. I always used to think, why me, Lord? Why did you choose me? I was so good looking. Why did you choose me? I used to cry sometimes. But my mother always said, God has chosen you. He has some plans for you. You may not know why you met with this accident, but a time will come when you realize, yes.
Why did this happen?
Why this happened to you? And at that time, you will thank God for it.
What is it like to be that doctor when you finished that graduation of yours?
I think everything was, just going on happening.
Very organically.
Yeah, so I didn't even think of it. Honestly, I was very thrilled or overjoyed. I know I passed. I know I have to go to Vellore now to get the seat. So then, then I went there with thinking that now where I'll have to go for plastic surgery. But it was already given to me saying that you go
One
here.
One step after the other was falling into place.
So then I had to run home to think I have to pack my things and I have to go back to Ludhiana. So everything happened so in a very organized way. I never had time to even cry about myself. Sometimes I'm thinking, am I so hard-hearted that
Not at all.
I have no time to sit and cry about myself.
I think just life kept you busy.
Yes, very busy.
Very busy.
Yes.
How did Agni Raksha happen?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So then what happened in 1999,
Mm-hmm.
I got an award from America. Three
Yes.
people in the world get it,
Okay.
and I was the first one to get that award.
Right.
And they gave me a lot of money,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to do with that money because
Okay.
I was so used to getting less money
Okay.
in CMC Velo.
Right.
We all worked in a mission hospital.
Okay.
I started my salary with 300.
My God.
So, but we were so happy.
Absolutely.
Very
Content.
happy, very content.
Yeah.
Because we needed only for food,
Huh.
and some 100 or something was there with us,
Right.
and some 12 rupees or something was train from Vellore
Wow.
to Bangalore.
The good
So
old
we
days.
didn't require any money. So with that little money, we were very content. And of course, we gave ourselves to
Yeah.
work, you know. 4
24
bar
by 7. Yeah. The
We were
doctor's life
working.
has no full stop.
Yeah. So I was very content, very happy to see my patients so happy. So then when I got this award and the money, I was just thinking, by then my mom had passed away.
Okay.
So I thought, what is it that I can do for the society? The way my mom has given me the courage, I walk also so confidently. I never put my head in, as if I am ashamed of things. I always think if somebody doesn't see me, don't see.
Don't see.
Turn and go. But if somebody wants to see, if they're curious to know,
Yeah.
I'm willing to tell them.
You're
also.
willing to share your encounter?
Yes.
Right.
Many people.
Right.
I share. I tell this is what
Right.
happened. So I thought it is all in my mind. So I never took it as negative at all.
Right.
And so I thought I must do that for the rest of the burn victims,
Right.
not burn victims, burn survivors.
Survivors.
That whatever they're going through, they're all inside because the society never accepted them.
Yeah.
I never saw any burn survivor coming out of their home.
Right.
They were always in the kitchen.
Because of the taboo and the prejudice.
And also the husbands, will get married and bring the new wife and ask the old wife, the first wife, to cook. And they used to torture. So when we went for a survey, when I saw that, I was so upset. I was
Right.
thinking, how dare these husbands do that to the wives?
Right.
After all, she would have given birth to his
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
taken
Taking
care.
care.
And then now, because she attempts suicide because of him only.
Yeah.
Because he gets drunk, he'll come home, he'll hit her,
Right.
and she's so exhausted the whole day taking care of the patients, the
The
children.
yeah.
And then her mental stability by the end of the day comes so low. The first thing they resort to is pouring kerosene on themselves and lighting a match. And that's how all my patients have got burnt.
Right.
There are very few who, they fail in 8th standard
Right,
or 10th
right.
standard, they will come
Mostly it's
at
this
a-
domestic.
Mostly domestic violence. So I thought, let me bring them all out into the society like me. Let them walk confidently, and they all should have a job. And now the husbands will look and say, oh, my wife is
Of
earning
course.
this much. Then they'll come running to the
Right.
wives. So I thought, I will do this. So that's how we started
Agni
Agni Raksha. Agni means fire, Raksha
Absolutely.
means protection.
That's been a commendable journey. You've put your entire life in such a beautiful nutshell. But when you took this initiative, this question just popped up in my mind that when, as a doctor, have your patients ever reached out to you and asked you or tried to find out about your story or had questions when they saw you?
And no, when patients look at me, they all tell me, Doctor, what age? When I say 8 years, they say, can we also become doctors like you? I said, of course, there's nothing. So
Right.
here in this Agni Raksha, if you see, many of my staff are burn
I
survivors.
noticed. Right. Yes.
Why we choose them to take up like nursing and all? We train actually.
Absolutely.
And also we send them to school, because sometimes school, college,
Yes.
evening college and all that, because we want them to be educated.
Yeah.
We want them to stand on their own feet,
Right.
earn their own money.
Yeah.
And then, earlier, one by one, we're touching upon the whole holistic
Absolutely.
treatment. So what we do after they get educated,
Yeah.
after they tell us what they like,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of skill training programs like
Right.
tailoring, like a
Right.
bakery unit,
Right.
kitchen, cooking.
So it's not just a
beautician
rehabilitation
course.
post the incident. It's all of this. providing them
whole
a
of
new
it.
lease of
It's
life.
not only the wound management. We manage the wound, we give them surgery, reconstructive surgery, we do physiotherapy, occupation therapy. We have a lawyer who will fight for them in the court and get money
Right.
from the government for the disabilities. We have a counselor who counsels them.
Right.
And we also have this alcoholic husbands who come. We send them to their de-addiction center and all that, and then they come and now they become teachers for the rest of the other alcoholic husband, so that one-on-one they will know what problems they've gone
Absolutely.
through.
Absolutely.
And then when they give lectures, they always tell how they tortured their wives and children as long as they were drinking, and now they should not.
They've not.
So that has a lot of impact. The same way the burn survivors who are our nurses, they do the dressing so gently. See, for me, literally they pulled and my whole face became even worse than what it was. So I teach them how gentle they have to be. And they know because they have gone through that pain before.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they're very, very kind to our other patients who come.
Yeah.
We will pour water, saline, dressing saline
Yeah.
on them, and wait till the whole dressing just falls off like that without giving pain. So I think these have had a great impact on the way we manage our patients.
So far, 25,000
yes,
people.
we have done 25 free surgeries on our patients. And everybody is so happy. And whenever we have any Christmas party and all, we call a lot of our old patients and we, give them the gifts for all the children, school bags, school books. And it's lovely. It's like a family for us.
It sounds like one, absolutely. To just finish this beautiful story up, Dr. Prema, looking forward, your life's journey put together, touching the lives of so many others. Somewhere do you feel that your mother's strength that she instilled in you and your personal journey that you went through at a very tender age where you were still growing up trying to comprehend what had happened, but somewhere it has inspired you to be the person you are today?
Yes, definitely. Because my mother is the greatest mother.
Yeah.
Because if only she had turned in another way and she had been, very rude or something, I don't think I would have come up this life. My many times I tell the parents, anybody who comes to us, like my dad, my mom was working, my dad was working. In the night, it was a must that we all sit around the dining table. And my dad used to ask us, what did you do the whole day? So my daddy, mummy, my brothers, sisters, all of us sit, and daddy will ask everybody, what did you do today? So my parents knew who our friends are, with who we fought, and what we did. And then my dad also will say, oh, the whole day for me it was very difficult. I did this. And maybe we didn't understand, but we were all very bonded. And my parents knew who our friends are, where they are. But nowadays, you see, father is working so busy, mother is so busy, they have no time for children. They want the children to watch the TV or even the mobile because they feel, the kids left us in peace. That is what they think now. And if 4 people are there, 4 are in different corners.
Absolutely.
One is watching the TV, one is watching the
gadgets,
mobile, and the other 2 children inside the room. What they are doing, God alone knows. See, that is why the children of this generation, I feel, have got no strength in them. Little problem, they just buckle to pressure.
A message for all.
Yeah.
Before we sign off.
I know everybody is busy, but if only during dinner time, if they all sit together, and if because parents are responsible for children, you can't, see, we all grew with so much of love.
Absolutely.
And I think our children also, they deserve to have a parent who can give little more attention to them to find out what their problem is, and they will be bottling it up all within. And when the time comes, first thing is they want to hang themselves. Such young children, you don't give mobile, they want to hang. You tell them study, don't use mobile, they want to hang themselves. Wherever I go to give motivational talks and all, I always say, I am willing to counsel as many if they call me and tell me their problems, even if parents don't have. I'm willing to do it. There was one kid in came as a patient to
Yeah.
me. He had pimples, and he was a second year engineering student, stopped going to college, and he shut himself in his room. He didn't go to college, and his parents tried their best to bring him out. They couldn't. They took him to many doctors, and then they brought him to me. I don't know, somehow they heard about me, and he came fully bent, so totally like this. Then I was talking, he never looked up.
Right.
Then I said, okay. I said, just look only at me. Just look at me only once. And then we will, if you feel, we'll start talking, otherwise we won't.
We won't.
So after a few minutes, I was waiting. After a few minutes, slowly he looked. He was just staring at me for some time. And then, poor fellow, he said, doctor, I'll go to college. I said, who's handsome and who's beautiful in this? Am I beautiful or are you handsome? Then, that slow smile I could see. Then I said, see, your pimple is there only for a short time.
Yeah.
Your pimple will go off.
Yeah.
Once you come out of your
That
teens,
age, yeah.
pimple will go. But for me, it's permanent.
Right.
And I'm sitting here,
Right.
and have you ever seen me sad? I said, not one moment I'm sad. I'm so happy when patients come and I can do something.
Yeah.
I said, get up and go do your engineering. Forget about all this, because in another 2 years you'll be fine.
Right.
Every year when he writes his exam, when he passes, he'll send me a card thanking me.
So
I
sweet.
think, there are patients who just need that little push. If there is somebody who can talk and tell them, I think they all will come out. See, nobody is born to think that they're going to die.
Absolutely.
It just, the circumstances pushes them to do it.
Absolutely.
So if only, and I love to counsel people who have got problems. If they come to me,
Yeah.
or even if they talk to me on
Yeah.
the phone, I'm very, very happy. I always think, Lord, if I can treat one patient
Yeah.
who really needs, and if I can do something to help them,
Yeah.
I'll be very happy.
I think on that note, that was a beautiful way to put it, Dr. Prema Dhanraj. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, ma'am. And, congratulations once again for winning the prestigious award. And may you continue to touch many more lives and bring about such a positive impact in our society.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to
Thank you.
SoSouth.
Thank you so much.